Everyone, I think we are live. I'm going to be waiting just a second as the chat comes up on my phone here. But hello, everyone. Welcome back to another video with On Point Politics. I know it's been a while since I've done something with my face cam, but we are now here and the polls have closed for the mayoral Democratic primary in New York City. And there is a particular reason why I'm streaming this. One of the reasons why I'm streaming this is because this is a very big test for the Democratic coalitions nationwide. And this is something that a lot of people haven't been talking about. There are two sides to the Democratic coalition. You have your establishment side that includes Bill Clinton, that includes, for example, Joe Biden, Andrew Cuomo, for instance. You have this establishment coalition of voters or, politicians and voters to an extent, versus the more new school progressive socialist type of Democrats, that being AOC, Bernie Sanders, David Hogg. And this is being put to the test in one of the strongest Democratic collated areas in the entire country, which that, of course, is New York City. And today we have a very wide Democratic primary between a bunch of different candidates, and the polls have just closed at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just did a video on this earlier today, and first of all, the weather conditions were absolutely terrible for both for the candidates. I mean, the weather conditions are horrendous. I think right now it's still I think it just dropped below 100 degrees in New York City, and it's like super late at night. It's like 9 p.m. Eastern. So it's, it's still hot. It's still like 100 and something degrees, or it just dropped below 100 and something degrees. So that is really, really concerning for Andrew Cuomo, because Mandani, who is the socialist 33-year-old who is in the race, who surged from literally 1% in an Emerson poll in February, he is now trailing Cuomo on the first ballot by like 2 points, and even leads Cuomo on the final ballot by 4 points. So that's a really, really interesting poll. That was the last poll that came out for the race. And so you have this clear momentum with Mandani, who's been surging and surging and surging the entire time, while Cuomo's kind of stayed in his 35 to 40% box. He's actually dropped like 1% or 2% since the poll from February. Like, his range will kind of vary, but he kind of stays between like 35 and 38%. That's usually where he's at. I'm going to be looking at the chat here. So far, everybody's pretty much talking about, I guess a lot of Republicans want Andrew Cuomo to win the primary. To be honest with you, I wouldn't mind a Mandani victory, just because I actually feel like the Republicans in New York would get a massive benefit from him being the Democratic nominee. And I want to talk about the consequences if either, Cuomo or Mandani win the primary, which are going to be the most two likely of the candidates who win the nomination as of this point. By the way, guys, make sure to like the stream. We have about 68 people watching. It would be really appreciated if we can get, the like count up. That would be absolutely wonderful. All right, so we have our first votes, and 30. Whoa. Okay, so 38% of the vote is in, guys. I was not looking at New York Times, but 38% of the votes are tabulated in this race, and Mandani is ahead by 9 points on the first ballot. That is absolutely insane. He's at 177,000 votes to Andrew Cuomo's 139,000, and Brad Lander, who cross-endorsed with Mandani, because in these ranked choice ballot races, you can cross-endorse with other people. So like Zorhan's people will probably put him first, and then Brad Lander in second. And then you have Brad Lander being first on his own ballot, and then Zorhan would be second in his ballot. But look at that, a very strong lead. Now, this is early vote totals, so, it's still really early as time goes on. But if you look, he's up by 4 points in Manhattan County. He's, leading by about 5,000 votes in Manhattan. He's getting about a 7,000 vote lead in Queens, and even he's leading in Brooklyn by an astonishing, like almost over like a 20 something point margin there. And Brad Landner's getting like a really high vote share there. He's getting about, give or take 21,000 votes in Brooklyn, which is like absolutely insane figures. As of right now, Staten Island, Andrew Cuomo is winning by 20 points. And in the Bronx, you see that Andrew's winning by about 24 points. So this kind of validates the whole crosstabs with Emerson, where if you actually look at the latest poll, I believe you'll probably see his odds must have gone up. Yeah, look, his odds are at 66% now in the betting odds. After that first poll dump there, he is currently at 60. Yeah, look at that. His odds completely shot up since like 9 o'clock, and he is now at a 68% chance to win the Democratic primary. And we look at the all share. Yeah, look, there it is. He's at 68% on Polymarket, which is absolutely insane. That is a huge accomplishment for him. And again, if we look at, for example, New York Times, clearly Zorhan is doing very well right now. He's ahead by 9 points on the first ballot. And if we look at the previous results, and we look at a very, very detailed map here, I mean, Eric Adams won by 8 points on the first ballot. He ended up winning the ranked choice voting by like 0.4%. It was like really close, but he ended up like narrowly eking out the primary at the time. So, he didn't even have the full, base per se, even all like put together. So that's also something really interesting to consider as well. We're getting at about 123 viewers in the stream. Again, guys, it would be really appreciated if you guys could hit the like button. That would help us out quite a bit getting this stream out there. Looking again at the results, still 38%. And they actually tabulated those pretty quickly because it was updated at like 9:08 p.m. They're doing live, results here, and he's up quite considerably in Brooklyn. Like he's doing very well in the Brooklyn borough, like extremely well. And in Queens, he's got a somewhat decent lead there. But again, this is early vote, guys. Early vote is going to favor Zorhan quite a bit. The election day vote is supposed to favor Cuomo to an extent. So that is, a little bit of a caveat here. It may be a little bit early to say that, Mamdani is going to for sure win it. It's possible that, he totally wins it. I don't think he'll get over 50% in the first round. I mean, if he does, that would be absolutely incredible if he ended up getting over 50% in the first round. And he's already at 43. So, this is pretty high. But again, 38% of the vote. And there's 411,000 votes with 38% in. So that means the turnout's going to be over 1 million. So that'll be really interesting to kind of see this unfold in the way that it probably should. So we'll be looking here. We see I don't even want to see these photos. Laura Loomer posted, I don't want to even see those vote totals out of New York. Breaking, Zorhan Mamdani's already ahead by nearly 38,000 votes in New York City mayoral primary with 38% of the vote counted. And Eric Daugherty also posted the results. He's ahead by 9.1%. Then again, Open Source Zone, posted the results with 38% in as well. Zorhan, election enjoyer once again. Zorhan Mamdani starts off with a 9% lead against Andrew Cuomo. With all of this reporting here, America First Insight also says with nearly 40% in, Mamdani has a decent lead. And if we see that if Mamdani is still in the lead once New York City's done counting for tonight, he probably is the projected winner 100%. If he's ahead in the first ballot, he's 100% going to win the primary. 100%. That is definitely going to be the case because it is expected that he will benefit from it is expected that he would benefit from a ranked choice voting scenario. And so if that's the case, he's going to end up being the next Democratic nominee for mayor here. And it'll be really interesting to see if he ends up being the nominee because the Democrats are super leaderless right now. They don't really have a party leader, even by like a decent plurality. Like they don't. And so because of that, okay, they reported 1% more. Cuomo gained like 0.2% of the vote, but that basically didn't really do anything to an extent. So they reported a percent of the vote practically. They reported like 6,000 more votes. And it didn't really change the electorate here much. You know, if he actually ends up winning the nomination, the progressive side of the Democratic Party, I suspect, will prop him up as a national figure, which would be a horrible mistake for many reasons. This is somebody who's promoted, wants to have government controlled grocery stores for pricing reasons. He wants to freeze rent. He wants to do free health care, all of these things that would lead to a disastrous New York City. And just even for the culture in general, like this is somebody, who's really hasn't even lived there. I mean, he got to America when he was about 7, but he just became a U.S. citizen in 2018. And so you're going to have a lot of voters in New York City that are not just Democrats, but even Republicans and independents that are going to find this very repulsive. And if they prop him up as a national leader, he can't run for president because he wasn't born here. But if they prop him up as some sort of national figure, since the Democrats don't really have one, I believe that would be a very big mistake for the Democratic Party because he is way to the left on many issues, even more than like AOC and Bernie Sanders to an extent. Lalo said, let's go Cuomo. Now, what's interesting is this, right? So in the actual general, you have Curtis Sliwa or whatever his name is. He's a Republican. They didn't even have a primary. They just nominated him. No one really cares about him. And then we have Eric Adams, who is running as an independent. So he was in the Democratic primary, and he now stepped out of the Democratic nomination and is running as an independent this time. And he even switched his party affiliation and everything. So there goes that. And then we also see, Andrew Cuomo and Zoran are the top runners up, the runner ups in this race. And what's interesting is that Andrew has stated that if he loses to Mandami in the primary, he will most likely run as an independent. So you may have an election where Mandani, Cuomo, Eric, the other independent, and the Republican goes at it in a 5-way race. And if this were to be the case, I actually think it's possible that Eric Adams wins re-election at that point. I also think it's completely possible that Zoran wins the election in a 5-way race. I think it's completely possible. I don't think Cuomo would win in a 5-way race, especially as an independent. I just don't see it. I don't think the other independent will also either win, and I don't think the Republican stands a chance. And so if you get to the general with Zoran as the nominee, you're going to have Eric Adams versus Zoran basically going at it in this type of weird coalition thing where Eric will get a lot of Republicans on board. I actually think he'll probably win more Republicans than even the Republican nominee himself will probably actually even get, to be completely honest with you. So that's something to talk about. So that's not really going to be an issue there. Again, guys, we're at 175, give or take, live viewers. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you to everybody who's actually tuning in tonight. But go ahead and please go ahead and hit the like button, as that will help out sharing the stream. Also, share this with a friend. Share this on X. Like, post the link on X. We have 175 people watching this. If you shared it with one person, we could get the count up to about 400 live viewers, which would be absolutely great. So please go ahead and share this, like the video. And if you're new, subscribe to the channel, because I am planning on streaming a lot more often. So that will also be great for the channel as well. No new results have been reported. Basically, everywhere is pretty much at 40% reported, except for the Bronx. They're only at about 30%, which is actually decent for Cuomo because the more votes that are stored in the Bronx, the better it'll actually be for Cuomo, to be honest with you. So, time is kind of passing, but the chance that Cuomo has to kind of win the primary on the first ballot is very low. I would be shocked if he actually won on the first ballot. It seems like Mandami is a very slight favorite in the race. Again, this is mostly early votes, so it is going to be skewed towards Mandami. But as time goes on, Cuomo will probably pick up from election day votes here. So that is something to really look out for as of right now. And we're going to be waiting until the vote totals kind of get closer to 90% reported to kind of make a final verdict on this. So that is something that we're also going to be waiting for as well. Still, literally still at 40 something percent, reporting. Not really much to look at here still. If we go on X, let's see what people are saying on X here. Zoran is doing very well in the early vote. Yeah. Red Eagle is absolutely right about that. And then obviously Kyle Kalinske, being the socialist communist that he is getting really excited about the fact that Zoran's probably going to win the primary. And, this guy, Kyle Kalinske, is extremely politically inept. I mean, he doesn't know what he's talking about at all. If he were to be the DNC chair, it would be the best day of my life because he would absolutely ruin the Democratic primary or the party, to be honest with you. He would completely ruin the Democratic Party if he became DNC chair. So honestly, if he's getting his candidate of choice to win the primary, that's even better for us. He is currently, let's actually check the betting odds. He's at a 78% chance to win the betting on to win the primary right now, which is insane. So he's at a very, very high number. And they actually even report they actually report the actual vote shares here, which is pretty cool. I wonder if, they haven't, I don't think they've reported anything on here. Maybe they have. Let's see if VoHub actually updated this because, okay, so they actually did. Okay, so they did update this. So look at the precinct. So on votehub.com, you can actually check out the precinct map for this. So this is really, really cool. So you can see that, again, like I said in my video, Maya Wiley was kind of the progressive candidate in that election to an extent. Catherine Garcia was also sort of that candidate as well. And when you look at this, I mean, clearly, it's kind of like Zoran is basically combining Wiley and Garcia's coalitions and also adding his other voters. So he's like adding on all those voters. They also reported another percent, and Cuomo gained like 0.3. But if we look here, I mean, it's literally like he's gotten parts of the Wiley coalition, parts of Garcia's coalition, and parts of Yang's coalition, and he's just put them all together in this big coalition. And Cuomo's kind of like, doing well in the Eric Adams parts of the country when looking at the previous primaries. So Zoran's gotten all of these coalitions of the Democratic primary that are on the progressive side, with that being the Yang coalition, the Garcia coalition, the Wiley coalition, and he's put all of them together to build like this super mega coalition to basically beat Cuomo in a primary, which is actually like, this is insane. This is like pretty wild looking at this. And he is doing very well in the early vote, to be frank with you guys. I mean, he is. He is doing very well. I'm about to look at chat again in a second. We're about to hit 250 live viewers here, which is absolutely awesome, guys. Keep sharing this. It will be greatly appreciated if you guys do share this this live stream. I am looking at chat right now, and make sure to hit the like button, by the way. Lalo says five-way race would be the best content. Yeah, 100%. And Adams would actually have a realistic shot at getting reelected with a certain coalition in that scenario. Just FYI. Commander Emperor, this is the Democratic primary. This is not the general election. I mean, if you clearly look here, the Republican, it literally says that this is, uncontested. Um, I mean, just saying, like, you know, this is pretty amazing that he's really doing this well. Uh, if we look at city council, let's look at some other stuff as they're waiting to report more. So again, if you look at the primary results here, there's a bunch of candidates that are like leading as of right now in like a bunch of these different districts. So those are all reporting in. As of right now, the Republican turnout's probably going to be super low, given the fact it's probably going to be very low, given the fact that Republicans basically aren't really going to show up because there isn't a primary. And then we have New York City Public Advocate primary. The Republicans already nominated somebody, and this Democrat is doing very well. I mean, they're basically running away with this. They don't even need the ranked choice voting. Okay, 10% of the vote was just reported, so I think I'm actually going to go back. Comptroller, it's sort of close, but this candidate seems to be well ahead here. Let's look because I actually think they updated this. Okay, so 51% of the vote is in, and Mandami is still ahead by like 8 points, and half the votes reported. Oh wow, that is not good for Cuomo like at all. That's actually really bad for Cuomo. He's still up by 4 in Manhattan. He gained in Queens. So he gained in Queens again, and he's doing even better in Brooklyn. And Staten Island is now only Cuomo plus 12. Oh my God, this is bad. This is really bad. Cuomo is ahead by like only 12 points in Staten Island. He's doing like okay in the Bronx. He's winning by 21 points, but this is like, man, this is a really bad performance for Cuomo. I knew that Cuomo was going to underperform because of the weather, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. And by the way, I am on record saying that Mandani was gonna win the primary. Just FYI, like that's what I had said previous to the results. So if he ends up winning, don't be surprised because you heard it here first. You heard it here first. Lalo, great viewership tonight. Thank you very much. American Patriot, 1776. Mandami is a Shia Muslim. Griffin Dorses Capillet comes to New York City. Of course, this is the only primary. Just hope you will get a Republican who will bring law and order. Well, the Republican candidate, even in people that I've talked to who I actually have friends that are going to help Eric Adams get elected as the mayor. And it's possible, and again, you're hearing this first on Point Politics, but it is possible that some of the MAGA coalitions and some of the MAGA people from Mar-a-Lago may possibly be helping out Eric Adams, and this is coming from somebody that has connections there. Oh my God, and Mandami just gained again with 3% more votes tabulated. Oh my God, he's up 8 on the first ballot. Oh my God, man, Cuomo is cooked, dude. Mandami's gonna win the election by like, like 12, 14 points when the final ballot's completed. This is like, man, this wing of the Democratic primary, or this progressive David Hogg wing of the Democrat primary is like really shining through. And this puts Pete Buttigieg in a really good position for the 2028 nomination compared to like Kamala Harris, and even puts AOC in a somewhat like strong second, to be honest with you. I mean, just looking at these results, like I expected Cuomo, like honestly, I expected Cuomo to like be a little bit closer on the first ballot. And I knew that was going to I knew that like Cuomo would underperform because of the weather, but I didn't think it was this bad. I really didn't. It seems like the polling, if that holds, the polls would have gotten Cuomo's support right. They just would have underestimated Zoran's support very massively. And we see Cuomo is gaining quickly. No, he's not. JD Vance throws up the middle finger live. Oh, what? Do you see they have these? What? What? Yo, this is what? Guys, look at this. Look at this. Yo, look at this. What is this? Yo, this bro, somebody's got to clip this. What is this? I didn't see this until now. Oh, this is hilarious. I guarantee you the cheers were like absolutely amazing at this speech. Oh, this is great. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I gotta watch that after. That's great. Oh man, incredible how the largest city in America, the best the Dems could do is either a disgraced former corrupt governor who killed people in nursing homes and a Marxist Muslim nut job who makes AOC look moderate by comparison. Oh man, I mean, yeah, it's true. It's very, very true. And this is, yeah, this is going to Mandami's direction fairly quickly. I guarantee you, if yeah, he's obviously up by a lot. In this, this is man, this is amazing. Cuomo's not actually gaining the election day vote so far in Staten Island. His lead has decreased from 51 to 31 to 49 to 34. Oh my God. Oh man. No, no, no. This is hilarious. Um, this is amazing. If you are a registered Democrat in New York City, you'll still have time to vote and make sure that the socialist doesn't win the primary today. Oh well, that didn't really work out because looks like he's probably gonna end up winning. And yeah, he's a 90%. He's a 90% odds the favorite to win. Oh my God. He has a 90% chance in the primary. He's at 89% in the betting odds. Oh my God. Bruh, you gotta be kidding me. And it's still 54% of the votes are in, and he's doing okay in Manhattan. It's pretty close. Brad Ladner's doing okay. But yeah, no, this is over. I mean, if this holds, this is done because a lot of Brad's votes, when he's eliminated, they're gonna go to Zoran. It's possible that, like, honestly, it may be possible that Zoran ends up winning the ballot before Brad even gets added, gets taken off. It's totally possible that that's the case. It's completely possible. Um, and everybody says, oh no, W Red Eagle, by the way, it's Cuomo over on Polymarket will probably bump up to 75. It already passed 75%. LB says, hi, Lester. I'm a big fan. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Really, really appreciate that. We have almost 300 live viewers, guys. Again, hit the like button. Would be really appreciated if you guys could hit the like button and subscribe. I do want to talk a little bit after the votes are tabulated and completed. So if you guys want to stick by for a little bit, that would be really greatly appreciated because I do want to talk about some updates with the channel. I actually do want to talk about some updates with the channel that are going to be really important that I haven't really been able to say live on stream. On point, it says USA 24 says, do you think there will be a socialist push throughout the U.S.? I mean, now that he is going to end up winning this primary, it's very possible that you're going to have him propped up as this like national leader for the party, because really the Democrats, they don't have anybody that can appeal like this guy has to young voters, like he has. I mean, they just can't find it. I mean, his policies aren't great, but his style of campaigning and getting out the vote has been like incredible grassroots. And so I think that the party is going to put him up as a I think the Democratic Party is going to put him up as like this national leader. 62% of the votes in, and he's still up by 8 points. He's still up by 8. Oh my God. And he's expanded his lead in Manhattan. He expanded his lead in Queens. He's doing good in Brooklyn. He expanded his lead in Staten Island, expanded it in the Bronx. Like this guy's killing it everywhere. This guy is doing great. I mean, to be honest with you, I just Rid S. Lester, do you think that the Israel-Iran conflict favor Mandami? I 100% think that. I actually think that could have benefited him, like a little bit. I actually think that could have benefited him. Could Zoran be a 2032 nominee? Nope, because he was not born in this country. In fact, he got here when he was 7, and he became a U.S. citizen in 2018, apparently. So he can't run for president. If I might actually do an electoral map scenario with him versus Vance. I may actually do that as my next video. I may do like a Vance versus Mandami primary video, or like a general election video. That would be really interesting, assuming that he was born here. Because obviously, if in reality, if you actually put him up as a candidate, he would get destroyed just on the fact alone that he wasn't born here. But assuming he was born here, we will do. I might actually do that matchup. But yeah, he's doing very well. On point, Fox is calling Zorhan. Oh wow, so they called it already? Oh wow, they already called the race. Oh man, this. Oh wow, wow. That is awesome. Wow, wow. That is incredible. That is honestly, like, I don't even know what to say. That's awesome. That is I don't even know. That's incredible. The Bashir stand, is it me or is it Mandemi doing better in Staten Island than I thought? Yeah, of course he is. Yeah, that's way better than I thought. Like honestly, that's way better than I thought he'd be doing. Uh Man, 26 minutes ago they posted this. He's probably doing better in Staten Island now. I mean, guys, this is a good sign for the progressive wing of the party, to be completely honest with you, because this is like the first primary that's like an actually big primary. This is the first primary that the party has had where like almost a million people are showing up to vote. So you can kind of see where the party in New York is in real time. About 668,000 votes have been already cast. 62% is in. So it's going to be about a million, a little bit over a million votes are going to be tabulated for this. That is insane. That is crazy. And so Fox already called it. They called it already? Oh man. Wow. They already called it for Mandami on Fox? Or I don't see it yet, so I don't really know what I'm looking for. I just haven't. It's true. This is a dad who doesn't speak English being led to his voting site by his daughter to vote for Mandemi. The mere fact that someone like this just has as much electoral sway as someone whose family fought on both sides of the Civil War and is not a testament to our political system strength. It's a deranged weakness. This will be one day that's looked upon as a bizarre occurrence, like how the Romans used lead pipes for their drinking water, or how the Athenians were duped into declaring war on the Macedonian Empire because of a couple of demagogues. Oh, that's funny. That's actually funny. Um, yeah, this is yeah. I mean, yeah, this is just wow. What did they call it? I think they did. Guys, I'm pretty sure they haven't called it yet. I'm almost certain they haven't called the race. I'm almost certain they have not called it yet. Wow. I mean, and again, Um, let's actually refresh this and see where we're at in the vote hub tabulations here. How many votes does pizza have? Hey, on point, been a quite a viewer for a while. Just want to see your content and speak. Thank you very much. I noticed you in the chat. Burb Drake, I've noticed it. I'm watching it right now. They called it. So Rachel says that they called it apparently on Fox. Man, that's wild. That is absolutely insane. That is crazy. And apparently, wow, Mandami's only down in Staten Island by 9? Okay, so they reported more votes. Cuomo barely gained. He barely gained. He barely gained. Queens, Mandami's up by 10 in there. I said he was going to win the primary, but I didn't think it was going to be by this much. Zoran's up by 5 in Manhattan. Cuomo's only up in the Bronx by 19. Staten Island only, damn, Mandami's only down by 10 there. And Brooklyn, Mandami's up by 19. Man, this is a really big overperformance. And then look, you could even see it by neighborhood too. So Cuomo obviously is doing well in like inner Staten Island, but like on the edge of Staten Island, he's doing a lot better. In Manhattan, like you could see Upper West Side, Upper East Side, like Cuomo's doing well. But then when you come into like lower East Side, East Village, Chinatown, like he's killing it. Soho, he's doing well. West Village, Chelsea, he's winning by 6. Hudson Yards, he's doing great. Hell's Kitchen, I didn't even know that was a place. And it is a almost 25-point lead. Long Island City, he's killing it there. He's doing really well in Brooklyn. He's basically winning like all of Brooklyn. Like pretty much all of it. He's winning like all of Brooklyn. That's insane. That is like super impressive. And the place where he's getting the highest vote total is Brooklyn. That's like his strongest area. Okay. CNN just called it. Oh yeah, it's over. It's over. Yeah. Yeah, if CNN and Fox already called it, that's it. Wow, I did not expect him to wrap it up today. I really didn't. That is really good for the progressive base of the party. I know it's not called yet, and I'm not sure the last time we've seen an upset like this in electoral politics of Zoran wins. Trump's 2024 performance was impressive, and in many places an overperformance, but it was far from an upset. Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah. Yeah, this is man. This is like incredible. This is woo, this is amazing. Wow. Unbelievable. That is a huge performance from Andani. Huge performance. 77% of the vote. He expanded his lead. Oh my god. And he gained votes. Oh man, yeah, it's over. This is this is over. This is over. Yeah, this is over. Wow. Wow. Yeah, this is honestly, if this guy was born in the United States, he would probably be leading the 2028 Democratic primary. To be to be completely honest with you guys, if he was if he was born here, he would be the front runner of the 2028 Democratic presidential primary. 1000%. He'd be the favorite. 1000%. He'd be the favorite to win it. And most likely, what this means is that Andrew is probably going to end up running independent. Eric's also going to be independent. You're going to have another independent, and then you're going to have the Republican. MSDNC is calling it as well. Yeah, this is over. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. No, we're gonna go ahead and call it because he's leading way more than he should have been. Yeah, that is wow. That was a very impressive performance. I did say in my video earlier that he could win by more. I actually did say it. I said that it's possible that Mandami wins by like a pretty comfortable margin. I actually did mention it as a possibility, and it seems that that is correct. You guys can go watch my video from today. I do say it. I did say that because of the weather and certain things, there is a scenario where Mandami could actually win by like 5 to 10 points. And he's probably going to win by more than 10 points when all the ranked choice voting is tabulated. He's probably going to win by more than 10 points. He's probably going to end up winning by like, he's probably going to win by a lot more than that. But to his credit, he did run a very strong, he did run a very, very, very strong door knocking campaign. Hmm. Yeah, but this is basically done. All right, guys. You know what? I think we're gonna go ahead and yeah, rough night for Kathy Hochul's reelection chances. 100%, 1000%. This is really bad news for Kathy Hochul. Very bad news, because him being the nominee is already gonna do damage. 81%. Yeah, it's over. Yeah, no, there is no way Cuomo's catching up. It's not gonna happen. All right, guys. So make sure to go ahead and hit the like button to subscribe if you're new. We're basically ending the stream here. The point has been made. He's won on the first ballot by a pretty comfortable margin, a lot more than people expected. He was underestimated in the polling data by quite a bit, by like, 10 points, basically, like 5 to 10 points, depending on the poll you look at. And so that is it. This begins the progressive party wing revolution. Kyle Kalinske, all of the super, super left liberal commentators, David Hogg, they're all going to be excited. They're going to take this as a political mandate for their side of the party. And to be honest with you, I would actually say it is. I would say that this is a mandate for the more progressive side of the party. 100%, I believe it is. I mean, Cuomo spent millions of dollars in this race, and Manami didn't really spend much, and he is literally ahead by 8 points. This is a really good performance for him, by the way. Like, this is amazing. The guy wasn't born here. He's super left on a bunch of issues, and he's up by over 70,000 votes. So, yep. But all right, guys. Make sure to go ahead and hit the like button. Somebody said LB, don't call it yet. It's over. He's won it. Like this is not going anywhere. Cuomo is ranked last place on most people's ballots. He's now winning the primary, guys. Mandami is going to be the primary winner. He's going to face off against Andrews, an independent, as Eric is an independent, and the other independent and the Republican. It's going to be a five-way race. It'll be really interesting to see how it unfolds. And we will see you guys in the next live stream. Thank